I'm Kristen, and I'm playing Linda. Believe it or not, there's a lot of parallels to Linda and myself. And I remember after getting the script, reading it, and having one conversation with the producer and the director, calling my mom, and I was like, God, it's so creepy. Like, there's just, the scene that I auditioned with, actually, it's like I had that conversation before. Like, verbatim, like I had said those words before. And even though I had gone over my lines for my audition and, you know, memorized them, thought about how I was going to do it, whatever, when I did it and I started like actually having the conversation, like all these like emotions like came out of me that I didn't even know I had, and I realized like how similar, you know, we were with, you know, the troubled past, and even how she comes to God was kind of my story, which was really interesting. It's not easy to cry on cue. I will tell you. It maybe like the first take, but to keep going with it, you're like, oh my gosh, like the tears are running out. But a lot of the scenes, a lot of them, where I'm actually having like that dialogue with Shelley, for one, it just keeps coming. It's like, this movie's actually been pretty therapeutic for myself, to be honest. Been working through a lot of things and still learning.
Since 3 attempts have failed for the principal role, we go back to the book, the first book of talents that we have, and I start looking through and I see this face. I say, whoa. And not saying anything to Jim, I just call her directly from and just happened that she took the call. And at the minute she took the call, I knew she was the person. You know, not even seeing her performance or anything. On the contrary, I think it was a blessing to see her energy, her passion, you know. It would have been a little bit challenging for somebody else coming out of the cold and take that. And she just nailed it down. I think, again, little miracles, you know, big God.
It was the best take for me for all the scenes. It was like, I don't know if you got it, but I felt it.
Yeah, it did.
The script wasn't very hokey, you know, and when I knew Michael Madsen was on board, I was kind of like, there's no way that this guy is gonna do like this holy roller film, which is gonna be like just too much. With him in it, I think it adds like the credibility of it, where even if you're not religious at all, you'd want to watch the movie. I just needed to get out of here as soon as I could. So this is based off a true story, and it's kind of has its ups and its challenges. The ups is I actually have had the pleasure to meet the woman that it's about, and you know, there's be certain scenes where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how did you do this? Like, not like in an acting way, but like, how did you actually, or what really happened, and find out the motivation for all that. So it's been really cool to, like, you know, pick her brain and like find out all that. But it's also challenging because she's right behind the monitor sometimes, and I'm like, am I doing this right? Is this how I'm supposed to do this? But yeah, I mean, the fact that it is a true story makes it that much more, you know, just epic. Because like, you watch it and you're like, yeah, right. Like, I was reading it and I was like, oh, this is sci-fi. I read it and I was like, this is sci-fi. And when I found out that this had actually happened to somebody, it was just like, I got nervous all of a sudden. I was like, oh, okay, so this isn't going to be like Sci-Fi Channel where they have like, you know, this thing swooping in and CG. Like, it was all real. So I think everybody likes something based on a true story as well.